Alright everyone, welcome back for another episode of ApeCoin TA. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the channel, hope you enjoyed the video. As always, let's jump right in. So, in this video I'm going to be talking about how ApeCoin is performing against both the USD and the BTC pair. I'm going to be putting a lot of emphasis on the BTC pair today because what is happening in Ape USD is converging from what's happening in Ape BTC. And previously Ape BTC has been a pretty good leading indicator of what is likely to follow in Ape USD. So we'll start off with Ape USD and then we will talk about how Ape is performing against Bitcoin, and then we'll briefly touch on the Bitcoin dominance because if this keeps on going up, this is very likely to continue having a dire impact over on ApeCoin price. Let's jump in. So starting off on the daily time frame, not much to talk about here because we have not got a plethora of data traded. We're going to be doing most of the TA on the 4 hourly. I would just like to highlight for those of you who are new, we are bearish. We are obviously in a red downtrend on the EMA ribbons on the daily time frame. Also, the 13 EMA was a perfect indicator for us to ride all the way up. Once we flip bearish on this at $17.60, we've basically been getting rejected from it. And at this moment in time on the daily, we once again, just like we did here, just like we did here, and then obviously all the way back up there we did it. We are coming back into the 13 EMA, and at least on the daily time frame, we're already starting to have a little bit of a push down. If we come over to the 4 hourly time frame, you can see it's not looking too hot. The past 4 hourly candle, and before I talk about that, actually, let's talk about how it was when we pumped up to this. So you can see volume was pretty flat. We really didn't have much volume coming into the EMA ribbons or the 13 EMA, unlike what we previously did. However, as we were coming into the 13 EMA, this time and the last time, we once again got a decent amount of volume stepping in. Previously, this was 5,000 worth of ApeCoin sold over on CoinEx. Right now, this is 4.6 thousand, and you can see it's having the same effect. Previously, we started to roll down, and right now we are starting to roll down. I do think ApeCoin USD is very likely to keep on heading down, unfortunately. Now, on the daily time frame, I wish I could say that if you have a daily close below the 786, then we're likely to flip bearish. But we've pretty much been lollygagging on the 786, so I'm actually going to move the 786 down because it seems like we've been respecting the daily candle body close of this Fibonacci much more than we've been respecting the wick up here in terms of, from the low to the wick up here. You can see 786, I mean, chopping in and out and in and out and in and out of it, but you draw it to the candle body close and you can see we didn't spend too much time at any other fibs, but the 0.5, once again, a perfect rejection. 382 was much better respected, 236 was much better respected, 786 was much better respected. So I'm going to be sticking with this Fibonacci from now on. Let's jump into the 4 hourly time frame. I think once you start to see 4 hourly candle body closes, daily candle body closes below this 786, which by the way is sitting at around $6.04. So if you want to keep it safe, let's say $6. If you start seeing, hourly closes below $6, and then you start to see continuation, you start to see we're starting to chop and lollygag below it. If you start to see 4 hourly candle body closes, and especially if you see a daily close below $6, then we are probably coming right down to my next price target. So where is my next price target? I've been talking about this in the past couple of videos, but I do think we are coming down to 420. And no, I don't have that there for the memes. I have it there because from this most recent impulse, or this most recent macro impulse, from this low at $14 basically all the way up to this high, $17.60, we're yielded with a couple of price targets. We've got the 1.618, 2.618, and the 3.618 fib, all the way down here at $4.20. And we've pretty much respected these so far. Once we came down to the 1.618, we broke down, back tested it, and continued to flop. 2.618, we back tested this here, bounced on it, had a massive break below it, found resistance here, bounced back into the 2.618, and here you can just see we're lollygagging into the 2.618 before the next major breakdown. Didn't quite make it back up to the next time, but I do think this 3.618 fib down here at $4.20 is a very conservative breakdown target. And bear in mind, I have not just, pulled this out my ass in the past couple of days. I've been talking about this for a little while now. I was calling for a big move down once we were $8. Actually, I flipped bearish on this at $18.60, but I had my take profit up here at $23. Now, I think it was $23.70. So originally, you know, the Cowboy family, we were trading this. We rode this all the way up to the 1.618 at $23.93, and that is where we took profit. So we almost took profit at the exact top. It went up to 27, which was a little bit higher than we anticipated, but nonetheless, we pretty well called the 1.618, and you can see, you know, we didn't even have more than one 4-hourly candle close above it, and then we just started capitulating. So ever since then, we've pretty much been sitting on the sidelines. I've been waiting for lower price targets to DCA in, and, you know, thank God, because it's a lot cheaper than when we originally sold. So when we do plan on getting back into APE, it's going to be really good because we are going to be getting a very, very nice discount. Let's check out what the momentum indicator is doing. If we pull up, let's see here, if we pull up the squeeze mom, it says that we're flipping over in the 4-hour into a slight bullish impulse, but however, the last times we've done this over on the 4-hour, I call these bunny hills. When you see the squeeze mom on the 4-hour start to head up and you come into EMA ribbons, it's normally a fake out every single time. Like you can see here, came into the EMA ribbons, bunny hill over on the squeeze mom, and it was a fake out. Come back to the last time, bunny hill into the EMA ribbons, once again down here on the squeeze mom, and it was a fake out. I'm not going to go through like every single example. You can see another one here, bunny hill on the 4-hourly EMAs, and it was a fake out. So the 4-hourly squeeze mom flips, especially on APE, especially in a downtrend, they don't always mean that we're bullish at all. It just means in the very, very lower time frames, we had enough momentum to come back into the EMA ribbons, and, you know, you can see bearish volume is starting to come in and engulfing that bullish volume. So I'm starting to think lower time frames, you can already see we're running out of momentum, we're heading down. This is predominantly backed up by sellers at this moment in time. Sellers are taking over the market structure, and I do think we are going to start to head down to lower price targets on ApeCoin USD. Now, like I said, $6.04. Keep your eyes on $6 approximately, because big moves below $6 is probably going to mean that we're going to move all the way down to 420. And if we come over to the squeeze mom on the daily, which is much more of a clear-cut indicator that doesn't really have fake outs, if we look at the daily squeeze mom, we're starting to print these light red candles. And bear in mind, you know, the markets go in waves. You have bullish waves, you have bearish waves, you have bullish waves and bearish waves, and we switch between these. This is why the markets are always cyclical, but you can see, instead of switching over into a bullish wave, I always talk about this analogy. It's like the bears are taking control and then they're taking a breather. You can call this they're running out of momentum, but in my opinion, as we've started to reaccumulate this momentum in the past couple of days, I think this is a breather. And I always say this analogy, it's like if you're doing bench press, you know, you're pushing, and then your set is done, you're taking a breather, taking a breather, taking a breather, and then when you do come back for your next set, you're going to get, you know, more energy because you had that rest period. And you know, the analogy from the gym basically translates exactly over into these charts, or at least it's a good enough example to explain that. But we are ticking back over in the squeeze mom in favor of the bears, which is really not a good sign. Like I said, 4-hourly is probably about to start capitulating. 1 hour is already capitulating. Daily, this little bunny hill bump that we did never even changed the market structure. So we're still pretty bearish over on ApeCoin. If we remove the drawings, let's check out what's going on the Hikonashi candles. Having a tiny green day today, but as you can see, it's predominantly a sea of red. We are running out of momentum to the upside, in my opinion, and as you can see, you know, we had a big breakdown. This to me looks like a big bear flag. If we draw this out, not that it matters too much, because the price target of this is going to be in the minuses. This is actually a bearish pennant, not a bear flag. Like I said, there's not even a point in extrapolating this, but you can see minus $16. No, I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm not saying we're going to go to zero. I'm not saying we're going to go anywhere near this price target. However, the bear flag in of itself is still a bearish signal, and while I don't think that we're going to go, you know, anywhere near those price targets, I do still think that we could have a mass capitulation coming in for ApeCoin. Now, the lowest price target that I see on my chart at this moment in time is $1.93, and at this moment in time, at least in the short term, I'm predicting a 33% move down to $4.20. However, this is when we're going to move over into Ape BTC. This is where we're seeing the divergence. So like I said, Ape is slightly poking its head in the green today, but Ape BTC is moving down. Why is Ape BTC moving down? Well, it's very, very simple. Ape is up about 3.5% on the day. Bitcoin's up 5%. And I've been telling you this for the past month now. I've been telling you the while the Bitcoin dominance is increasing, then you probably shouldn't be betting on altcoins, because even in bounces, Bitcoin is still outperforming altcoins. If we look at what's happening on the daily, I know it's nothing, crazy for crypto terms, but the Bitcoin dominance is up 0.5%. Bear in mind, the Bitcoin dominance depends on the total crypto market cap, and it depends on Bitcoin's percent out of that entire crypto market cap. So at this moment in time, if you get the entire crypto market cap, add all of the market caps of every crypto together, 47% of that is Bitcoin. So for Bitcoin to move up 0.5% against every single crypto is a big move for the Bitcoin dominance. Now, I've been telling you for weeks now, the Bitcoin dominance is exceptionally bullish. I know there's been moon boys, crypto YouTubers that have been saying altcoin season's coming, altcoins are going to get bullish, but where is it? It's very, very clear. These altcoins are not performing well against Bitcoin. A lot of people love to look at the USD pairs, but they don't value their altcoins against Bitcoin, which I think you're definitely missing out on something, because if you were holding ApeCoin any time from the 28th of April, then you've been getting absolutely wrecked against the Bitcoin pair. I mean, forget about the US dollar. If you just held Bitcoin instead of ApeCoin, then you would have been 71% up. If you were holding ApeCoin from the highs instead of Bitcoin, bear in mind this is not down against the US dollar, this is down against Bitcoin. We're almost 72% down or 71% down against Bitcoin. ApeCoin is really, really not looking too good. Your macro 618 was right here, has been invalidated. We broke down from it, bounced up to it, confirmed it as resistance, and now we are moving back down. In the macro time frame, well, like I always say, the macro time frame, we're looking at this on the daily chart. This is all the data we have traded. However, this is the next quote-unquote macro level to keep your eyes on, and it's the 786 Fibonacci. How do we know if this is going to be a big area of support? Well, drawing from the fib, low to the high, we've already come down and perfectly bounced on the 786. This is why I love fibs. I don't really mess with trend lines. I much prefer moving averages and Fibonacci's, and this is why. Trend lines, it can get broken at any point in time, and then you can redraw them 1,000,001 different ways, but there's only so many ways you can draw a fib. Like with this, you're either drawing it from the candle wick or you're drawing it from the candle body close. You can see that from the candle body close, 786 wasn't respected, 618 wasn't as respected, so draw it to the wick, see how it is. Price action is much more respected on these Fibonacci, so that is how it goes. This is how I'm drawing it right now, but coming into the micro time frame, which is what I want to specify for the this is what I want to specify for the Ape BTC pair. We have this micro fib from this low down here. Let me get the exact price target for it. It's a tiny bit down, so even when I adjust it, we have unfortunately started to capitulate below this. Let me line this up a little bit more so you can still see the price. We'll put it on 2, but this was your 786 fib. This was the line in the sand. The ApeCoin would have needed to held if it wanted to remain bullish against Bitcoin, and unfortunately, well, unfortunate for altcoin holders, I'm basically all in Bitcoin at this moment in time, 90% Bitcoin, because of what I'm seeing with the Bitcoin dominance and the altcoin pairs. So it's not bad for me, but I am hoping ApeCoin goes down more. Sorry if you're holding ApeCoin, but obviously I want it to go down so I can buy it cheap and I can make a trade on this. I've been very patient on Ape. I've been sitting on the sidelines waiting for Ape BTC to show some signs of a reversal. I don't think that's going to be happening anytime soon, so bear in mind, I think this can go a lot lower. What I expect for ApeCoin in the next couple of days is for it to lose, or let's call it the next week. I think we're going to move down about another 17% against Bitcoin. And this macro target that we've got from where we are now is approximately another 61% drop. So I do think Ape could really get battered against the Bitcoin pair. And if I'm predicting a 61% drop against Bitcoin, then this 33% drop over on ApeCoin down to $4.20 might not suffice. So what would, let's see, Ape BCC, if this goes down 61%, let's say hypothetically Bitcoin breaks down 10% and ApeCoin breaks down 61%. This would equate to, approximately about a 70, 71, 69% drop or so. And this would literally perfectly line us up to our last valid price target. And I say valid because you can see the price targets down here on these fibs are literally in the minuses. So we're not even going to talk about these. They're obviously not going to play out. I'm not saying APE's going to zero. I'm actually a fan of APE in the long term, but in the short term, I'm looking at this objectively. The chart does not look good. It does not look strong. We're not showing really any forms of strength, in my opinion. We keep on getting battered in what looks like this triangle at this moment in time, if I line this up. And it looks like we've got an apex of this coming in the 9th of June. So I think in the next couple of days, ApeCoin against the USD needs to make a big decision. Are we going to be breaking up, potentially coming up to $7.26 of the EMA ribbons? I'd be more hedging towards a move to the downside. That's just my opinion. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if some of these altcoins do bounce over the next week, but keep an eye on the Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin is outperforming altcoins even when it's bouncing. If that doesn't tell you that we're not in, bear market territory, then I don't know what will, because if you haven't seen the Bitcoin dominance before, the last time Bitcoin bottomed in a bear market was here, and the Bitcoin dominance continued to go up. This simply means that Bitcoin was massively outperforming altcoins. And look at what we did last time, 2018. Coming into the bear market lows, Bitcoin dominance broke out and went on a massive rally, and altcoins got absolutely slaughtered. I think this is what's going to happen again on the Bitcoin dominance. I think we're moving all the way up to 60%. I've been talking about this for weeks now, and we've done nothing but move up in almost a straight line. So I do think at some point we're going to have a small throwback on the Bitcoin dominance. Altcoins may outperform. I'm thinking what could happen is this week, Bitcoin might outperform altcoins. Next week, before the FOMC meeting on the 15th, altcoins may bounce a little bit harder than Bitcoin. And then on the FOMC meeting, if the Fed decides that they're going to increase the interest rates again by 50 basis points, then we're very likely to see altcoins massively capitulate against their Bitcoin pair. So like I said, we're seeing a divergence in APE USD and APE BTC. The USD pair is bouncing up slightly. The BTC pair is calling for lower price targets on both the BTC pair, and I believe this is going to be a leading indicator of what to expect over on APE USD. So in the short term, ApeCoin is very likely to lose about 33% of its valuation against the US dollar. It's also very likely to drop about 17%, maybe more, against Bitcoin. But if we do capitulate below this 786, then we could wipe out a lot of the market over on ApeCoin. So I do think the bottom for ApeCoin is going to be anywhere between this $4.20 range and $1.89 range. Now, there's going to be a lot of people asking me, where am I going to be buying? When am I going to be buying the dip? Do I have a price target for these altcoins? My answer for all of those questions, doesn't matter what altcoin you're asking me about, until the Bitcoin dominance goes up to 60%, I wouldn't even think about buying the dip on altcoins. APE could go down to $1, and if I'm still seeing the Bitcoin dominance do something like this, so let's say hypothetically it does something like this, and then APE is, $1 here, I'm still expecting the Bitcoin dominance to go up a bit higher. So I really would be waiting for the Bitcoin dominance to move up to 60%. I've been saying this for weeks now, and Bitcoin's been doing nothing but outperforming altcoins. So be very careful if you're trading altcoins. It really doesn't matter what altcoin you're trading right now. All of them are getting wrecked against Bitcoin. This is Gala against Bitcoin. Let's hop over to the weekly. I'm literally just going to spend 10 seconds showing you, for those of you who are new, who have maybe not found my channel before, but everyone's bullish on altcoins right now. This is how Gala's performing against Bitcoin. This is how Ape's doing against Bitcoin. Engine, KDA, Doge, Crypto.com, JASMY, Tron, short-term bullish, macro term, low high. Near, AMP, or this is Matic, AMP is doing terrible. All of these cryptos, even blue chips like Solana, are getting wrecked. So be very cautious if you're still trading altcoins. I do think it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. That being said, the people who have been sitting on the sidelines with me since APE was, $28, $27 or so, congratulations. We've been sitting waiting for lower price targets. We haven't been, jumping into trades. We've been very conservative, and because of that, we're getting very cheap prices when we do look to re-enter the market. That's all I've got for you today. Not looking too good. Not a lot of volume supporting this trend. Lower time frames, bearish volume is coming in, and it does look like we are about to start rolling down on some of our momentum indicators, because the lower time frames, it's already happening. That's all I've got for you today for APE. As always, best of luck, not financial advice. Cowboy out. Peace.